Good morning, guys. Beautiful morning. Sounds like we got a logging truck coming up the highway on the other side of the trees over there. You can tell it's starting to get later in the year. Got a fog down there. It's a pretty cool morning. It's like 65 degrees. Been working, getting the container all ready and stuff. And I started hauling some more dirt down here. This has to be leveled off. Basically, it has to be leveled to this location with the deck up there with the building site. This is gonna have to be all one level site. So kind of need to start hauling dirt into here and everything. Did find a soft spot about 3 loads up from the end here. So I was coming in with full loads of the dump truck. She started sinking in, putting some pretty good ruts. You can see it down in there. So that's good. Compacting this all in. It goes right there. Just a little soft spot there. I ran on the sides and everything else. It's just right down the middle. So that's all good. It's just compacting it all in and everything, getting it all put in. But I'm going to continue with loads up to there and dumping the dirt I got in there and smoothing it out and stuff, and then compacting this in, just keep building this up. Well, guys, we are really getting somewhere with this driveway. Me and my son Jonah, we're been working on this hard all day. Got a whole bunch more dirt up here. These stakes with the blue marks are where the height of this driveway needs to be at this point. So you can see we still need to come up about 1 foot to 1.5 feet. But we got a big chunk of it done today. It's supposed to actually rain tonight and tomorrow, I think. So I wanted to get this put in and packed in and everything else. And we'll probably have a couple days away from the dirt as it dries back out. So right about where Jonah's standing right now, that's where it needs to be. I think a little closer to me, right? Wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was a little closer. Okay, so yeah, I went 5 feet closer to me. But that right about there is the level that we need. And to these blue marks. And then from there, and we're gonna be tapering down all the way down the driveway. It's gonna take a lot of dirt. It's been a lot of dirt. I showed a picture to the wife before I bulldozed it. It was, I mean, probably about 2 feet over the top of those stakes. High, all the dirt we dumped in here. And then I said, you wanted to have a high driveway. And she plans on having dance parties for women only at the barnuminium that I have. That's her plan. Instead of having to go out to these clubs and stuff and weird guys all chasing them around and stuff. She figured we could have something right in there, music and stuff and everything. Have a safe place. And I said, well, you better not serve any alcohol, because they take off drunk out of here. They might end up going off the cliff in our driveway. All this is going to be filled in. I'm just getting this set. But the sides will all be filled in. This will all be filled in. So cool. Well, it is a beautiful sunny day. It's froggy. And I have 2 slave laborers today. And decided to cut those trees down. It just kept falling and falling. So we cut the trees down and we hauled off the good enough part of the wood to use as firewood. All the rest of the branches they're hauling out there. But me and Jonah are not happy because this here mountain let loose on the side, which I know is going to happen. That's not bad. But this is, because me and Jonah sat out here. If you can see it, should be right about there. There's a blue dot with a stake in it. There's another one in that pile. And me and Jonah sat out here for about 6.6 hours figuring out the math to make this square. Because we're not so good at the math thing. But he is. But as you saw in the last video, or other video, he's kind of strange too.
No, I'm completely normal.
No, he ain't right. But he is good at math. So I got to get the bulldozer out and clear all this away. And I'm actually going to angle the blade and make it kind of like a ditch. You know, I'm not even going to do that. I was thinking I was going to make like a ditch along there for the water to flow out of here. But I am not going to do that because that mountain's just going to fall in there. And it's fine. We're going to mark this off, and we're also going to mark the other one. I have another container coming. Should be here in 4 days, I think. I said they'd be delivering it. I asked, I got that big trailer, and I says, you know, they charged me $1,200 to bring that here. And I went up there and looked at them and everything else, and I said, well, what's the price for delivery? And he said, $3,300. And I said, what's the price if I come pick it up and haul it myself? He said, $3,200. So he's charged me $100 for delivery. I don't know how it was $1,200 the last time, but that's why I bought the trailer, so I could save $1,000 or so on hauling the thing. I thought that'd be a good benefit. And I'm like, for $100, it don't even pay for me to go through the trouble. They come in with the actual trailer that it's meant for. It rolls right off of it. So I'm just gonna let them deliver it. So they said probably Saturday they do it. So I'm gonna get on the bulldozer. I gotta get all this dirt cleared out of here. I doubt we're gonna find our stake again. And we're gonna have to re-square all this up and everything. I did dig a ditch through here to let some of this water out. Didn't work the greatest, but it got the water, some of it out of here. But I think we're gonna be fine. So we're gonna clear this out, mark these circles out, these spots where we're gonna drill. And I'm gonna do all 8 holes. I'm gonna do it for the other container, so when the other guy shows up, he maybe can back right up here and drop it pretty close. I doubt he's gonna be able to drop it right on it, but he can get it pretty dang close. And all right, we think we have something of a square. And I told him if this is wrong and the building is crooked, I'm gonna beat him. So we got the marks right there. That's where the holes are gonna have to go. It is super soft here because it's been raining for a couple days and stuff. I'm gonna have to try to pitch the tractor that way, otherwise I'm gonna get it buried. Hopefully when we dig these holes, they just don't cave in. But I'm about to go fire the tractor up. He's marking the 2 back holes over here. Then the other container, this is where the back of it's gonna be over here. You can see the green dots there. That's where we're gonna drill. And up here. So now I get to use that 3-point post hole digger that we got from Tractor Supply. Get to use that and should go a little faster. Did go home and get the post hole digger. See, he's not right. And because I forgot that at home because you have to clean out the bottom of the hole. We're gonna shoot for 4 feet. I think 4 feet's enough. These are just containers, you know, but we're gonna shoot for 4 feet. So.
A little. That's about, oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, dirt.
Not the straightest hole I've ever seen, but it's deep enough.
They go that way.
What?
Yeah, no, that is not
You
straight.
need to go forward.
Yeah, no. It looked like it was going that way.
Yeah.
When
I
it
don't
was.
know. I want to jump in.
I'll jump in.
You're jumping in?
I'm jumping in.
Here.
Oh, the camera.
Is that how deep it is? Okay, crouch down in there. Alright, I'm gonna go help Larry. You want? You want help?
High five.
Alright then.
You didn't give me a high five.
Hold your special stick.
You're supposed to give me a high five. I don't know. Oh.
Is it straight or not?
Go back a little tiny bit. Yeah, now it's like perfect. Hey, it's raining.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Alright, we got all the tubes set. Got frames around them. I used the laser level to get them all that they're all the same height.
Hey, pull it.
And then I built a little wooden chute that would go underneath the cement mixer. And you can just tip it and dump it in and let it go in. So we got them all done, all measured out. Got them all pretty good centered up. Got lots of room to play. Got the tubes up there all set. Everything is good. Yeah, we don't have water, so I went and got myself a tote, and the boys seem to be a little concerned about it because the water's blue and milky looking. And it says something about poison center if you get in your eyes, flush stuff, I don't know. Yeah, it was some kind of thing from water. It had a little residue back in it. It's acid. Who knows what it is? But it's gonna mix concrete today. And then we got a lot of bags of concrete. I got 4 pallets of concrete bags. I got this from Nards. It was like $900 and, or no, I think it was $888 for the concrete or something like that. I priced it out getting it here in town. It was $1,700 and something in town. So I saved a lot of money running over there and getting it. You might be asking a silly question. Why are we doing by bags? Why don't you just call a concrete truck? Well, I can't get a concrete truck up the driveway yet. Concrete truck would get stuck. So I got a professional concrete mixer right there. And his apprentice over there.
I just work
Oh.
here.
All right, so we're going to get mixing concrete and everything else. I got to fire a generator up. Give me lots of noise to run this here concrete mixer. And we're going to start dumping and mixing with acid water. Whatever that is, milk of magnesia. Well, guys, it's the next morning. Concrete is all hard. It's not fully cured yet, but it's hard. And I've already put a stick across here with the laser level. And this one right here and the one out in that corner is just about a 1/4 inch low. They kind of shrunk a little bit. The concrete does that when the water dissipates with them and stuff. You can kind of see it. It kind of shrunk in there a little bit. We should have probably stuck around and gooped some concrete in them after, because they always do. They'll settle just a little bit, and then like I did that with the one back in that corner back there. I saw that one was settling when we were pouring the other one, so I put some more on top of it and smoothed it back out. But it dropped about a 1/4 inch. No big deal. I'll just put a 1/4 inch plate of plywood, treated plywood or something. Just put a little pad underneath, just corner that corner to get it level. But the other ones are spot on. We are about ready to start the other side. Yesterday was a lot of messing around, measuring, getting stuff. I mean, we actually didn't start pouring until almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And these boys, they had a long day. They had 12 hours out here yesterday, and they were ready to go. So I did not put the bolts in them set in the concrete. Started measuring, and the holes, they got off a little bit. They're still going to work and everything else. There's, you know, we just had to do some adjustments and stuff on them as we're doing them. But to do that when I got done with the last one, there was no way I was going to get a bolt wiggled into that last pad over there. And we need to draw the lines on it and square it and everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with my hammer drill and drill a large hole to drop the bolts down into. It's just to keep the container from shifting. Say if like all this push down or a bunch of snow pile up against it doesn't push the container to the side. That's all it's doing. It's not holding it down or nothing. That's just by weight. But so I'll just drill holes. We'll mark it when we get all done and everything, and I'll use my hammer drill and drill a hole down a couple inches into it and drop those bolts into it.
and then the container will sit perfect. That way it'll be all square and center and stuff.
Well, I just sent the boys down to get another load of concrete bags. I'm not sure how many have gone through. I'd say we probably poured around 160, something like that so far. It's working out pretty well. We just built that little ramp there. We got that set up like that. And that's the thing that I use for working on my truck. I have that set across the fenders of my truck, and I can lay up on there. It works good for keeping the ramp. I don't want it to be sitting on the tube, so it's not putting weight in on it and pushing it down, you know. And so we're filling up, and we're on to this hole now. This is the third one we got to do today. We're almost to the actual tube itself. We're just filling up the hole and everything. And I do have rebar all in there. I didn't show, I don't know if I showed or not, but I have 5-foot sticks of rebar that's pounded down into the ground, and then some cross hatching across them and all wired together in there. So that way it'll help the concrete piers so they don't untie them or something like that, crack or frost heave, get some water or something, you know. So just work better. But yeah, we've been getting it poured and been getting it poured. This back corner right here was pretty wet. This was a pretty wet spot back in here. We were mucking around in a muck. It all needs to be excavated back here. That's the reason why. This is the lowest spot right up in here. So eventually I'll get this all the way down so that it's lower than what the landing is going to be here, and that way the water will drain out. Get a place to get out of here instead it just collects back here every time it rains and stuff. But yeah, we're just filling them up and stuff, and just pouring the tube. It fills up all around it, and it just goes over the top of the tube, and then we just kind of let it all go around to kind of give the support to the tube on the sides too, so it doesn't move around. This one here was a real funky hole. I hit a big rock when I was drilling down. I hit a big rock, and the thing just went completely sideways, and there was nothing we could do about it. It basically goes down about 3.5 feet, and then it goes like an L shape. Goes that way. So I just filled it all in. Just filled it all in with concrete. We got plenty of concrete, and so it's getting there, guys. It is getting there. But my back is pretty hashed, so I'm doing the loading from the bucket. I don't have to bend over, and I just kind of pick them up waist high and dump them in there and stuff. I can control them a little better than Jonah, but he's young, and Jonathan's helping too, and I sent them down there, and they are loading them, and they're having fun driving the backhoe back and forth too. So, well, guys, all the piers are all poured. Back the next morning, and kind of got a late start. My body did not want to get moving. I tell the boys be up at 7, and I actually didn't get up till 8:15. So I figured it out. I've actually lifted over 12,000 pounds in 2 days. With my back being broken twice and all this stuff, I've lifted over 12,000 pounds in 2 days myself. The boys were a tremendous help, but it was a team effort. And at the team, the youngest one, he can't lift these bags. He does, and he helps move them and stuff like that, and he'll pick up a couple here and there and stuff, but they're pretty heavy for him. I think he only weighs 100 pounds and they're 60-pound bags, you know, so you can't expect him to lift them all up. And the other one, the older one, he's very physically fit, very strong. He's cut, he's ripped really good. He's in all kinds of ROTC things and stuff. He's always the guy that carries the log, you know. But I saw him, we had him dumping them first, picking them up, putting them into the cement mixer. And I think after about 10 or 15 bags, he was like shaking and stuff, you know, trying to hold them and then put them in there and dump them in there decent. You can see it was a little bit much. So I decided I would switch with that, and I decided I would put them in there and stuff and do that, control that part. And the younger one, he controlled the machine, and the the older one, Jonah, he basically helped with the pouring of it and making sure it's got water in it. And we all had our jobs, but I was figuring it out. And we poured 200 bags. They were 60-pound bags. You figure that out. That's 12,000 pounds. And I touched every one of those bags. The older one, the first day he did, I don't know, 10, let's say 15 bags. But I also loaded them all down there too the first day. The older boy, he would go down there and help me load them into the bucket to bring them up here. And I would load like 4 or 5 to his one, you know. So I touched a lot more than 200, you know, by loading and stuff. Yesterday I said, I cannot load, guys. This is all on you. But I did lift every single bag. So it was a lot. And my body is not liking me right now. But I was standing in the mirror this morning, brushing my teeth, getting ready to come out. And I looked down and I don't have any more love handles. I've lost a lot of my stomach. My wife was going, oh, we got to get you some help. This is too much. Because I've been really hurting bad. And I had a talk with her this morning. I said, nope. The Bible says we are supposed to work hard. And that's what I'm doing. I am working hard. And yeah, we could get help and everything else. Hire help. That's going to take away from what we can possibly get done with the money that we have available. But then also, it is good for me to do this, because if I don't do all this stuff and I don't, you know, it was a little bit much the last couple of days. It was, I will admit, it was a bit much, but it had to be done. If it hadn't been done and I sit around and I can't lift these, and I sit around 5-10 years from now, I'm getting wider and not able to move functionally, everything else. Working out is good. Keeping fit is good. And so it talks about it in the Bible. You need to work hard. So we got her done. So I got the boys. They went down this morning and they went down to get the plastic and stuff. We have 24 bags left of what I bought. I had them put 2 pallets down over there, just in our property over there behind the dump truck, and put the 2 pallets down, and then they stacked all the bags on top of that. They forgot the plastic. They're going to bring the plastic back up. We're going to cover it up. That way we got it for future use. We got 24 bags already. And that way it's all plastic, covered in plastic. I really actually do like these Menards bags. Like over at Quikrete, you know, they come in paper bags and they're a lot more expensive. Quikrete up here is, for 60-pound bags, they were like $7.49 or something like that. I got these for I think they were $3.86, and then there's an 11% rebate. And I actually like these better because they're in plastic bags. Not one bag did it have a hard clump in it or something like that. Where in the Quikrete bags, it sucks the moisture from the atmosphere through the paper into the bag. It does. And these plastic bags, they just work better, I think. They don't have them in 80-pound bags. I think the reason why is because the bags, when you grab them and move them around, they're kind of like right at the verge of coming apart. So I think if they had 80-pound bags, I don't think they'd be able to do it with this. But it helps protect the concrete inside with the plastic. So it works good. And then you just wrap some plastic over top of it, and that really helps protect them. So we are going to be pouring a lot more piers over where the old Ford tractor and the bulldozer is. We're going to be putting something there, and there's going to be a whole bunch of piers that are going to be over there, flush with the ground. So that'll be coming up future. We have some different plans going on. And so I'm going to need a bunch of concrete. But by that time, as soon as this is done, I'm going to try to get this container set today. And then the other container is coming in 2 or 3 days, something like that, to be dropped off. Get these containers set. Then I can finish excavating the landing up here. All this is actually coming down 3 feet from where the containers are not. I know I said this, I'm not going to do it. I'll go over that in the future, but I got a plan. But we're going to take this down 3 feet. That way we don't have to bring the driveway so high, because we're getting really super high with that driveway. And once I get that done and finish that little bit of driveway that's left, then I can start bringing in a mine rock and dumping that in there and building a really good base for the driveway, and then we can really move forward from there. And when we pour all the rest of those, I'm actually going to figure out how much this cost us I bet you we could have a concrete truck up here and it wouldn't cost that much more. So when we do the next one, we're actually going to be doing a lot more. It'll probably be like 20 piers, where this was 8. I don't think my body could handle it. So we might actually have a concrete truck come up here and just pour them all. We could pour all the whole, probably 20 piers in probably a couple hours. So I think it would make a little more sense. But yeah, 200 bags would be good. 600 bags, I don't think I'd make it through. I barely made it through 200. So they're down there getting the tarps and all that other stuff and doing that. And I'm going to be getting ready. I'm going to set up the laser, check them. We actually poured a little bit. We actually put some wet concrete on top of that one. It was almost a 1/4 inch low, and that one over there yesterday, and just put a little skim coat on top of it and got it right up to where they're perfect. I'm going to check these now that they're all dried. They're drying, but they're dry, but they're not cured. We're going to try to check those and see where those are at. And then we're going to lay our grid pattern back out and mark it all and everything else. And I went and bought, I plan on putting these bolts in the concrete sticking out like that much, so that the corners, there's a hole in the bottom, and that's how these containers hook to each other. These stick up inside that hole, so the container cannot be pushed off of these concrete piers, because that hill is going to let loose very soon. It's excuse me. I cut the trees down that were hanging off the edge there, because I was like, we don't need these falling on the kids here and stuff. So I cut them off, but this here has drooping down. All that big slag is falling away from there. It's like a cave in there now. This is going to come down sometime. And I'm hoping to get the container in here and then it can come down and kind of lay against the container and stuff. And it's fine doing that. I'm no problem doing that. But I want to get them put on there and get these pins on there so that they can't move. They can't be pushed sideways. Snow coming off the roof, piling up against the container. Don't want to slide the container off the piers. Well, guys, it is done. I didn't really record while I was doing it. Pretty aggravated. But they are sitting in here, sitting on those concrete piers. And the astonishing thing is that I'm trying to hold the camera so the window in. I put my level inside there. It is level that way and level sideways on both of them. That's amazing. But that's the new container that we got delivered. Outside is a little bit banged up and stuff, but it is in good shape. No holes, nothing else. And I'm going to be probably scuffing up all the rust spots and everything. And I'm going to be doing the same thing with this one. I'm pulling all the stickers off and stuff. And then putting painting them and stuff. And probably paint them brown. I don't know. So it's fine with that. Price was right. I got a really good deal on this one here. And he's also going to be bringing a 20-footer for the solar system to go into in the future. But that one there was not fun. Me and the boys, we worked at it. I have all of my tools and everything else inside of it from that was down in Wisconsin, and a bunch of other things stored in there. These containers, I think they weigh around 9,000 pounds. And when I got it empty, I picked it up with my crane truck, no problem. And I tried to pick it up, it would not even pick it up. I used the backhoe, the bulldozer, and the crane all in together, configuring it, and we cut logs. You can see a log laying in front of it. There's a log over in front of this one. But I had logs all the way down the whole thing, and that's how we ended up getting it in there finally. And we lift it up, get it up enough, cut a tree down, cut a log up, put it underneath there, and we rolled it across those logs like that. And I pushed it with the bulldozer and kept using the backhoe and got it in there and got it back there. And it's sitting on the piers. So that's all good. This one went a lot easier. We've had a ton of rain in here, and I've really been focusing on making this pad level up here. But this from this way goes up, so it's kind of made a lake in here. And so it's just mud. It's really bad. But this one here that we came in this morning, and I hooked it up with the crane and thought, okay, let's try. Let's see if something's going on with the crane here, and lifted it, no problem. Put it right into position. It's right on the marks and everything else. So awesome. So we're all set. The containers are in their final resting place. It's kind of hard to see, but it's all good in here. The floor's in great shape. And no holes or nothing else, so this is going to work great. So this one here is actually going to be, initially it's going to be used for all of our household goods. We're going to start packing up the other house that we live in now, and I'm going to build some shelves in there and stuff, and we're going to be putting everything into boxes that we're not going to need until we built our final house. And this way we can store the stuff, and it's away, no mice or nothing can get in there, all sealed up, and everything will stay good. So that one's going to stay for that, and the other one is basically going to be for tools. So that's the thing there. This here is not the final grade. I actually need to go down 3 more feet, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have the containers up. The thing is that these containers are 8'6", and I need 13 feet. Well, I could get special trusses maybe with a heel, but then they have like a corner on them. You can't drive at the corners. And I wanted to put sliding doors on here. And if I put sliding doors, and I had the sliding doors on the front with 2 doors, when I go to open the doors, if those are higher than what the ground is around it, then the doors won't slide on there. And I thought, well, I can just leave a big gap at the bottom of the doors. But I was getting into so much water and stuff, and it was getting so mushy, I just couldn't go any deeper. So I've decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this down another 3 feet in between it. This is all going to be 3 feet lower going down to match the driveway down there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a wall, build trusses, build a wall in here, and I'm going to have 2 roll-up doors, and probably make 2 12-foot doors or something like that. And that way I could pull the trucks and stuff into it. Well, guys, continuing on with this project, it's a lot of dirt. It's a lot of dirt to be moved. This here is from one cut. The sun's going to hit you. It goes all the way down there. See the boys, they're down, way down there. They're finishing up the septic field today. They should be done down there today. Basically, every stick, every piece of vegetation has to be cut off at the ground. And I got to go down there and cut all the stumps everywhere. And I got to cut the stumps off at the ground. And then I got to start hauling sand in there. And I got to have, at minimum, a foot of sand on top of that pad. And that will give me my 48 inches of drain. It's going to be more than a foot in some spot because I need it to be level. But I cut this in yesterday. So this here is actually level. I've used a laser stick from Vevor stuff. I've actually grown to really trust that. I really have. It doesn't look like it, guys. When you're in here and stuff, it's like, no way is it level. I don't know. It looks different on camera, but when you're in the back, it looks like you're looking up a hill. Looking back this way. But I did it, and I trusted the thing, and I put the containers in there, and those containers are perfectly level. They are just perfect. I'm not kidding you. I put a level inside them on the floor and stuff. They're level lengthwise and across. And it's like, okay, I guess this Vevor thing's working. So once I got the tripod, before the tripod, this thing was a nightmare, but once I got the tripod, so basically what I have to do is I have to cut all this down to this same height. So I wanted to get one cut that was down to the depth I needed for the entire run. And then as I cut down here, I don't have to be so careful. I just sit there and plow through the dirt. And then when I start getting close, when my blade starts getting close to this cut over here, then I need to start slowing down, and I need to kind of sit there and judge it, make sure the blade's level. And then I just make sure the corner of the blade is just scraping along top of this. And I just make cuts over and over again. And so it's piling up here. It's a lot of dirt here. You can see how far back that is to where the piles are. I'm starting now. This has been piled all the way. It's a lot of dirt. So it's going to make enough fill to finish the driveway for sure.
And then when I do this side, because all of this whole area over here, all the way we're over to Minneapolis is, everything, all this has to be cut down too. And so when I push this out, I'm actually just going to continue to push it out with the bulldozer and just go right up alongside the driveway and fill that up. So we don't have such cliffs on the side of the driveway. So that stuff I won't have the truck and everything. I'll just be able to push it right out. And then in front of the containers, I'm going to have some like ramps coming down. I'm going to leave them going down to this area. Well, guys, a lot of bulldozing been going on. We have gotten final grade. Thank you. Final grade. I've been pushing the dirt out right down there. I don't know if you can see the string all in this area stuff. That's the main house. That's the future main house right there. We're getting it pushed out there. By the time I get out to the end of the house there, it's going to be 7 feet high. I was telling my wife the other day, the cross and where we got married is over there. We're actually going to be higher. Usually you put a cross up on top of a hill. It's got its own little hill over there. But this has been done. That stake right there along the driveway, it's got that blue mark on there. That's the final grade that I've been shooting for. And we are good right here. We are right with that. So, been pushing this out a lot. Compacting, grading it, putting it all in there, everything else. And I don't like it. I don't like the way this is going. This is just a big mound of dirt. It's going to be pulled out of there with the dump truck, loaded up, and that's going to be finishing the driveway. Got just a little section, maybe about a third of it that's got to be kind of filled in. So that'd be enough dirt for that. That's what that is about. But I started digging down to get this final grade. And the reason why is I had to lower this down 3 feet because the driveway was getting so high. So I raised the driveway 3 feet to where that blue mark is. And that's as steep as I possibly want to go. I'm having a pitch going down. If I didn't take this down, I'd be 3 feet higher. It would be an incredible slope that in the wintertime you'd never get up. So all of this is completely level. It does not look like it when you're back here. My wife was out here last night and she's like, there's no way this is level. And I'm like, I know, right? But I have really learned to trust that Vivo laser there, that rotary laser, because I set that for the containers and put that on there and I'm like, there's no way. And I've been fighting with this every time I've been grading, and I stuck a level inside there once I got them set up there, and they're perfectly level. Side to side and lengthwise. I'm like, okay, little China Revo rotary level, I trust you. So this whole thing is completely level. When you stand back here, it actually looks like it's going uphill. It's just an optical illusion because the valley, and we're actually going out towards those tops of those trees, really. But it's level up here. We're just up on top of this hill. We're higher, you know. We're almost 2/3 of the way up the height of those trees, way down there past the tractors. So here's the problem. Every time I've been backing up and bulldozing, don't worry about this. Don't worry about this area here, because that is not going away. That is staying right there. I have buried the bulldozer in there. Almost got it in there a couple times, and one time I just buried it in there. Then I buried my backhoe trying to get the bulldozer out. It was a horrific mess. It is a really wet spot right there that I found. And my plan is that's going to be fine until the winter. Once things, the ground starts freezing up and everything, then I'll go in there, chisel some out until I break through the frost and start to sink in again. Get the dirt, put it in the dump truck and haul it out of here, and keep working at this, and you know, let it freeze for a while and go back in and do more. But every time I back up, this was all my idea and it was a mistake. So I don't think it looks that big on the camera and stuff, but I mean, it's like up to my stomach here, the height.
And basically a ramp would come out probably about where we are, and be a long ramp, and storing snowmobiles side by side, or not side by side, but probably like, four-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff in there in the winter, and snowmobiles in the summer, and then all the other stuff, and then a lot of things that maybe I don't use very often, tool-wise or something, to store it. Got 2 of these containers, plenty of storage room. Going in and out of there is going to be a pain in the butt. And I've been backing up looking at this going, I've almost killed myself lifting over 12,000 pounds of concrete to pour these piers. And they're right there that you can kind of see the edge of when it goes down into the ground. And they're all in there. And it was a lot of work. We got it up there, got it all in, everything else. And now I don't like it. So I've been fighting myself. Got the wife out here last night, and she came out and she was like, oh my goodness, she hasn't seen this place in almost a week. And she's been real busy. And she just got done running in Marquette Marathon. And she was gone for 3 days for that and for a work thing. But she came out here and she's like, oh my goodness, it's all like getting wide open here and stuff. You're really getting a big pad out here. And then she looked over here and she's like, huh. And so what do you think about those containers? And she goes, well, how do you plan on getting in them? And I said, well, I'm going to take the dirt all the way, and I was going to build a ramp, maybe make one side a ramp, make the other side stairs, and make them the same height as the ramp so that you could drive a four-wheeler up, the stairs part would go up and just hit the top of the stairs, tires, and going up and down in there. So what do you think about this? And she goes, I thought you said this was our forever place. And I said, yep, building this so we don't have to redo something and everything else. And she goes, so just saying, what happens when we're 80, 85 years old? Are you going to be climbing up and down the stairs and going, taking things in there and stuff? No, it's my thinking too. So, this is all going bye-bye. All this work, I just needed her to confirm it, because I've been fighting with myself and everything else. All this work for nothing. So I'm going to be bringing my crane back in here. Back it in here. I'm going to pick this container here. I can pick up the whole container with the crane. It's fine. Put chains on each corner. Hook it. I can pick it up and I'll set it right over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it right here. And then I'm going to excavate this dirt to get it down to the level that I need. And those concrete piers are going to go bye-bye. Just pull them out. Then I'm going to remark the holes and re-drill the holes, put the tubes back in and everything else to pour new concrete. And then I'm going to pour it again. And then I'll come in with the thing, because we actually need this right now. This one here we need. It's completely empty. This one here I'm going to be building a bunch of shelf stuff in. And we're actually going to be starting to move stuff out of our other house in preparation for what's going on out here. And we're going to start packing up things, everything that we won't need until we get our finished house done. And we're going to fill this one up with stuff and start working on that, so that when it comes time to sell the other house, boom, we're ready to go. So this one here I need to get set. And so that's what I'm going to do. Get this one set back up, but down at the level that the pad is going to be. So it's level with the ground. And I will just make some triangle forms that go up. It's 8'6", so basically what, 5 feet, so 5.5 feet. So that'll go up, and then a C-channel goes over to that side, and C-channel goes to there, and weld it up on top of the container. Then I can get some trusses, place them up on top of there, and basically be able to run the sheet steel all the way down, all the way to off the containers. That way the water's going off the snow and stuff. I know a lot of them, you can get kits and stuff where they mount on, and they just mount on to one side and everything. I don't like that, because then all the rain and snow is going to be sitting on top of the container and stuff, and it's metal and it's going to rust it eventually. I plan on repainting all these, get rid of all this rust and stuff, and when it's completely covered like that, then it'll last for so much longer. So yeah, it's actually starting some raindrops right now. It's actually starting to come down, But basically, I have to excavate over there. You can see the flags over there. That is the property line, and I'm going to be excavating at this same level all the way over, and start pushing it down. This is going to continue going down the driveway. This cut that I'm in right now, that I'm working on, that's going right down the driveway, and those other ones I'll probably push it over and whatever. I'll figure out some place for it to go. But getting this all down and everything else, it's supposed to rain for a couple days, like I said. I think that I could continue to do these cuts, but I'm going to stay out of this. I got this all nice in here and packed pretty good. And I think that the water should flow out of here pretty good. It should rain in here and the water should just run out. So, yeah, a lot of work getting those containers in there where I wanted, had an idea, and I don't like it. That's life. I would rather take the loss, cost me about $1,000 and all the materials and everything else and the concrete and all that stuff. But I would, in 2 days of really super hard work on my back, but I would rather have it the way I want it the first time. And so that's the plan. Get that one down, dig that out, and then re-drill the holes, pour the concrete and everything. And there's going to be another project up here that's going to happen with a whole bunch of these piers being put in for something to be built onto, and I'll get into that in the future. But there's going to be probably about 20 some holes that I got to do that. I'm not lifting the bags for that one. By then, I'm working on finishing. I'm almost going to be finishing a driveway here with these cuts and putting this dirt down there, and then I'm going to be hauling stone and putting that all in there for the base to build all that, and then I'll be able to get a cement truck up in here. And once I get the cement truck up in here, I'll be ready for that, ready for the other thing, and I can pour that in there. No problem. A cement truck, probably an hour or two, pour a bunch of cement, done. He drives away, we let it dry, and then I can just take my crane and put it back on there, and we're back to there. And then I'm going to take, that side over there is just too wet. I can't get down in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that off of there and put it down in a flat, and I'm probably going to leave it down there for the winter. And start excavating that stuff when the ground gets frozen a little bit and everything else. Well, it is starting to rain. They said it was coming, and it's coming. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, well, you can just redo your work. Try it all over again tomorrow. God bless you guys. I'll catch you next time. See ya.